me coming to you once again with this fireside chat without the fire. I'm just following up on what I said earlier about during the Domestic Violence Awareness Week. I'm just following up on what I said about that. I know a lot of stuff I said is unrealistic, but you gotta think it through. You gotta come up with a plan. You gotta have something on your mind when you're thinking that what these people need to do about these people that go around smacking people. But I know they're gonna be like, I don't want your sons out here thinking my mama violent, my mama had violent tendency. Mama ain't violent. I got a history, a life of history behind me that can speak to my level of violence. I ain't violent, but I definitely believe in self-defense. I can count on one hand probably about the number of times I had to rise up and defend myself against somebody with no home training. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk about those little 5 times or how many times it is that I can remember. I can remember as far back as like 2nd and 3rd grade. And I'll start with that one. Because it was my big sister and I in Detroit, Michigan. It was late. It was dark. It wasn't late, but it was dark. It probably wintertime and it get dark early. And so we was coming home from the store. I had to go to the store to get myself some potato chips because I was going on a trip the next day. And, you got to pack your lunch and stuff. So I go in the store, got my chips and all that I need to get on my trip tomorrow. And my sister and I walking home from the store. And then a boy come from behind us on a bike and snatched my potato chips. Took my potato chips out of my hand and they're pedaling off. You gotta slow down to grab the chips, and then you want to try and speed back up. Well, he ain't had no time to speed back up because I went running after that boy to get my chips back. My older sister went home. My master, where he at? And then she went after that boy. He took her chips and she ran after him on the bike. so I went after the boy, got my chips, and then went on home, huffing and puffing like that wolf. And the 3 little pigs. You're all out of breath, but I had my chips. Okay, you're supposed to do that. You go get your chips back. Hey, man, ain't got nobody taking my chips in first, but that little boy. That was the one time. And then that was, like I say, 2nd or 3rd grade that happened. Then 5159 Commonwealth, Detroit, Michigan. And then the other time, I remember it was, next time I think I was in high school. I was in this class, sitting in government class, the little boy sitting behind me. That boy pulling my hair, just yanking it. And the class 45 minutes long. And so he yanking my hair, I asked him to stop. I said, please stop. I asked him 3 times. 1, 2, 3, stop. Please stop. All that kind of stuff. Boy, I ain't never stopped. He kept pulling my hair. So I ain't said no more after the 3 times. I mean, what to keep asking him to stop for? So he kept pulling my hair throughout that 45-minute class. I mean, it wasn't a constant. It was just every now and then. My hair get yanked. He ain't back. So anyway, when that bell rang, I waited until I crossed the threshold from the classroom to the hallway. Once I got inside that hallway, I jumped on that boy like a spider monkey at the zoo. Scraped him up, scratched him up. It didn't last long. The teacher came, it got broken up real quick. He was bleeding, and we both got sent to the office. We got sent home early that day. And I thought by the time we come back to school the next day, the teacher was going to separate us. He's going to put me on one side of the room, him on the other side of the room, and all will be good. But that man, he didn't. He put us right back where we were. I'm in the front, he in the back. But guess what? I ain't had to worry about that boy pulling my hair no more. He ain't pulling my hair no more. I sat the rest of the semester in that same seat. I ain't never had no problem with that boy pulling my hair. Now you say, what? I was like, what am I supposed to do? I'm going to raise my hand and tell the teacher? Well, if I raise my hand and tell the teacher going to tell him the same thing I told him. He's going to tell him, stop pulling that girl's hair. Leave it alone. That's what he's going to tell him. I already told him to do that. And because I told him it was my head, my hair, my pain. So he's supposed to stop because I tell him to. You ain't got to wait till the teacher tell you to stop doing what you know you ain't supposed to do. So anyway, that was that time. And then I think the next time would have been like when I was in college. I was free single, disengaged, living in San Antonio, Texas, by myself, going to nursing school and all that. Yes, I was in nursing school. I was going to say hadn't got accepted to nursing school yet. I was in the prerequisites, but no, I was in nursing school. But anyway, living in this apartment by myself. And this man used to come by. He used to, when people want to talk to you and you're not interested, girls know this, you usually give them a makeup name. And my makeup names, I used to have 3 of them. One was Agatha, Wildemere, and Penelope. All those crazy names, I thought. And so we used to play with those names in high school, my best friends in high school and all. So it was Agatha, Gwildamere, and Penelope. But then guess what? As a grown woman, I got a new name. I use Jezebel because my husband, that old man that fathered my children, he told me that his mama used to call me Jezebel. You need to leave that old Jezebel. I didn't even know what a Jezebel was. I knew it was a name, but I never heard it used as a noun. So I had to go to the dictionary. I had to go to the dictionary and find out what a Jezebel was. Why would they call me a Jezebel? So anyway, I looked up the name and all about wickedness and stuff in that Bible, about the girl in the Bible who was all wicked, and she wasn't a good girl anyway. So anyway, the mother-in-law used to call me a Jezebel. Reggie should have told that woman, that's my wife, don't say that, get behind me, Satan. He shouldn't have let her be calling me Jezebel. So now as an adult, when you got somebody interested in you, want to talk to you, stuff, that's another name I throw out there. What's your name, girl? Good looking, whatever. Jezebel. Anyway, that's another story. But anyway, that man that was messing with me, I told him my name was Agatha. And so that man used to come by my place. And you're in school, you're trying to learn. You're trying to eke out your little place in the world. You got the radio off, the TV off, so you can maximize your learning potential and all that. And this man used to come by my window. Agatha. My heart would skip a beat. I was just scared. Wasn't expecting that. Agatha. And so he did that. Heart skip a beat. I'm scared. The other thing the man used to do is jiggle my knob. Jiggle, 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 jiggle my doorknob. Just doing all that. And then the third thing he used to do would be hanging around my door. 2 or 3 feet away from the door. My door used to overlook the pool. And he'd be just leaning across the balcony. Now, it ain't like he's looking at somebody swim. Ain't like he supervising some kids or watching the loved one swim. Sometimes he just lean across my balcony and ain't nobody in the pool. So I know he just hanging around my door. And the man didn't live on my breezeway. He lived down the breezeway and around the corner. So he ain't got no business leaning over my balcony, overlooking the pool, hanging by my door. And that used to be scary. So anyway, and then like say you're in nursing school, you're up in the morning for the rising of the sun, 0 dark 30, and then you're coming home, you're closing the library, so you're coming home after dark and stuff like that. So, and then, just like the man, always hanging by my door and stuff like that. And I used to be concerned. And so when you leave your car, when you're coming out of your car, out of the parking lot, you got the range walk going on. You're walking all fast, you're looking around, making sure your safety is all good. But then, that man hanging around here by my door. So now you got to slow your pace. You got to dig in your pocketbook and try and find your manicure and scissors or your fingernail file. So that way when you walk in your door, if the man tries something, you at least have a fighting chance. So the man used to do all that. But anyway, you're busy, you're in school, you ain't got time for this. But you got to do something because the man used to scare me. I was real scared. I was scared. I was going to say scared for real. I wasn't going to say I was real scared. I'm going to say I was scared for real. That's a different phrase. Real scared, scared for real. I was scared for real. I wasn't real scared, but I was scared for real. But anyway, so I said, I'm going to have to put an end to this. This is going to have to stop. So the first chance I got, went ahead and spent the time that I had to do. Because you got studying to do. You're in school, you're working, you do all that. And you ain't got time to be messing with this kind of stuff. But when people out here and they don't know how to act, you ain't got no choice but to mess with it. But anyway, so I that's when I bought my first 380. I went and bought my first gun, my first firearm. So I went out to the gun store, bought myself the 380, and then when I came home on that Saturday, there was the man hanging out by my door, leaning across the balcony. And I showed him my firearm. It was in the case. But I told him, I said, you keep hanging around my door, jiggling my knob and calling my name. I said, this is not going to end well for one of us. I said, so you need to cut that out. And so anyway, I went on in my apartment. And I always wondered, that man jiggling my knob, what if my door was unlocked? I'm like, would he bring his derriere in there? Would he cross my threshold and enter my apartment? I never knew, but it was a question. I always wondered. So now I got a 380. I started leaving my door unlocked. Not when I went to sleep or not, but when I was wide awake studying and stuff. I leave my door unlocked. I wanted to see if that fool would cross my threshold. I wouldn't harm the man. I just let him know, you need to get out of here. I'm armed. You gotta take this noise elsewhere. But I just wanted to see. I wanted to satisfy my curiosity to find out if that fool would cross my threshold. But guess what? He ain't never came back around my apartment. He wasn't leaning on my balcony no more. He wasn't jiggling my knob. He wasn't calling my name. None of that. But I know he was was still in the complex because I used to see his car. His car was still in the parking lot. So the man didn't move. He was still there. He just decided to mind his P's and Q's and find somebody else's knob to jiggle. But he left mine alone. And that's all I wanted. So anyway, that was the third time. That was, well, I'm on number 3 or 4. But I see, and then the last time I had a confrontation with a fool was in 2016. It was the dude I met. I was going to work. He was come through the little park all the time on my way to work, Washington Square Park. Walked through that park, met the man. He seemed normal. We exchanged phone numbers, and then we sometimes we study together at the library. Sometimes we go run together around the little Benjamin Franklin thing, Benjamin Franklin walkway or whatever that was, we do around there, go around them circles. But anyway, so we did that. Probably 2 weeks I knew the man. And so one day when I'm at work, I have my phone turned off because I don't want to be disturbed at work. I don't want people to be disturbed by my clients, making my phone ring and all these buzzes and jiggles and notifications and stuff coming in, disturbing my clients. They ain't got nothing to do with them, so I don't want them to have to be experiencing that. So I turned my phone off. One day I forgot to turn my phone back on when I got off work. I did my study and I did all this and that. And then it was time for bed. So, you got to set your alarm so you wake up in the morning. So I was getting to set my alarm. And then I looked, I said, I forgot to turn my phone on. Look at all these calls. And so I turned the phone on and there were all these calls from this man. Now, the first 5 or 6 came through normal. Like, I hope you're having a good day. Sorry I missed you. I'll try back later. Just like the 4 or 5 ones. First 4 or 5 came back normal. But then by the time he got to the 5th, 6th, 7th call, that man was cussing me out. He was calling me every name under the sun, everything. He was just talking about me real bad. And tell me I'm avoiding him, purposely ignoring his calls. I think I'm too good for him and say all the kind of stuff. So he would cuss me out and say some ugly stuff. And so anyway, I called the man. I told him, I said, I got your phone call. I said, I'm so sorry I missed your call. I said, I had my phone turned off and I forgot to turn it back on. And then when I got ready to go to bed, I looked down. I saw I hadn't turned my phone back on. So I turned it on and I got all your messages. Stuff like that. I told him. I said, so I do apologize for missing your call. I said, but I got your messages. So don't call my phone no more. And then I hung up on him. Oh, that made him hot. He kept calling back all back. And so that man, he kept calling my phone. Like probably about a week. He would call my phone. Maybe it's not that week because I probably wouldn't put up with it for about a week. It might have been 3 or 4 days. Calling my phone, blowing up my phone, getting so many messages on my phone. The answer machine used to say, you can't take any more calls. Your box is full. And that's what he would say. I'm gonna keep calling you until the point you're gonna have to change your number. I say to myself, I don't know where that man been. He must have been in jail for 10 or 20 years because you don't have to change your number anymore with somebody calling you like a fool. You just block them. But I ain't block them because, this is 2016. I'd already been through the situation with the in-laws. And I know you gotta make your paper trail. You gotta make your victim noises. So I called the police and I filed the police report. And I told them I was scared. I wasn't scared, but I told them I was scared. You gotta do the Elizabeth Singleton on them. And tell them you're scared and concerned. You worry about your personal safety. And I tell them about the man leaving all the messages. I thought they would listen to the messages and hear what the man had to say. Listen to all his threats and stuff. They ain't listen. They ain't do nothing. They took the report. But then they told me I got to go downtown and file a restraining order and do all that. So here you go once again. You ain't got time for this. You're busy. You're in school. You're working. You got to study. You got tests to take. You got all of this going on. But you got to stop what you're doing. Go downtown. You got to go through the courthouse. You got to go through all the security checks and stuff. So ain't nothing quick. You got to go through all this. And so I do there. I get out there. I fill out all the paperwork and stuff. And then the people tell me, well, you know what you got to do now is you got to go write this letter, cease and desist, and tell the man to stop bothering you. And then you're going to file a restraining order. You got to send that letter to him. And why I got to send a letter to him? He bothering me. He know. And then you got to wait 30 days. I said, he know he bothered me. He said he aggravated me. He said he going to do it until I have to change my number. So why do I have to tell him that he's bothering me? And then I got to wait 30 days. I said, well, that's what you got to do. You got to send a letter. Said cease and desist. Then you come back and you can file a restraining order. So I left the place. I'm like, this don't make no kind of sense. But anyway, so I left the place, got online. You know how you can get online, you can find out who people are, you find out who they people are. So I got online, I found out who he was. Well, I already knew who he was, but I found out who his people was. I think I found a mama, a sibling, and even a junior. He had an adult son. And so I wrote those people and sent them these letters about this stuff. And I wrote him too. And sent him this letter about him stalking me and telling him I filed a restraining order. So I didn't file a restraining order, you know, you gotta wait 30 days. So I told him I filed a restraining order. I said, I only knew the man 2 weeks. Y'all need to reel him in and tell him to stop bothering me. And then this is the stalking law. And then I sent him a little piece of paper about that. So anyway, I did that, sent them all that stuff. None of them letters came back to me, so I assumed the people got the letters. And then I used to go out there in his neighborhood. I used to hang out by him. I used to go to his neighborhood. I used to, run up and down his block, doing my exercises. I used to do my stretches and stuff in front of his apartment. And then I used to hang out by his mailbox eating my peanuts and bananas. I just hanging out there. So he got all these threats, harassments, intimidations for my poor answering machine. Oh yeah, and that's what I had to do because he had my answering machine all clogged up. He was calling all times of night. I had to turn my phone off at night. The messages could still go through. Or I had to put it in another room. And then oh, and I had to go out and buy one of them little square clocks that you plug into the wall. And so it's because I couldn't use my phone at night. But I used to turn it off, and then I guess the messages still came through, and so I was able to still keep track of all the messages and the phone calls and stuff like that. But I put it on silent or something. That's probably what I did. More likely put it on silent so I had to hear that. But I had to plug that phone in. And use that plug-in phone because the man used to do all that. And so anyway, like I say, he got all these dress rat intimidation for my answer machine. And so here I am, front and center in your hood. So what you gonna do? And I ain't never seen the man. The man was ghost. I don't understand, but I'm here. It's like I'm out here at the OK Corral. And I'm the only one there. Ain't nobody there. Whatever. And so I'm like, so I did that for about a week, and then I left it alone. And so, I was able to turn my phone back on, and I ain't had no more phone calls. The problem was resolved. And that's all good. That's all you want. You just want people to leave you alone. That was the last time. I ain't never had no more confrontation with anybody since 2016. But like I say, I can count on one hand. So it ain't like I'm a violent person, but I do believe in standing up for myself. I do believe in self-defense. It's just like in the military. When you got these countries threatening your allies or threatening you in some kind of way, doing stuff they ain't supposed to do, what the army do? Or the military, I should say. What the military do? We do shore force is what they call it. They be flying airplanes overhead. They got their ships out here in the international water, letting them see your might. And then you got your soldiers marching up and down. You shore force. You let these people know that you're ready for them. If they want to escalate this thing, you're not backing down. You're ready for them. So that's all it is, a shore force. Now, not everybody can do that because not everybody prepared to be able to defend themselves. But when you know somebody's out here, you're assigned to the line in the United States Army, and you say you're going to defend the values that make this nation great, and then you want life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and you're willing to defend that. So why you want to put people in jail for doing those kind of things? I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to defend your life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And when it comes to you young, and like I said, the only people on the planet, only people on this blue globe that we live on that think that's something wrong with me, that I'm scum of the earth, that I'm violent and incapable raising my kids, is them people who run that cult, who put my kids on this cult journey and ran this cult thing on my family and got all these things going on that these children can't even begin to understand. And so they're the ones that talking about something wrong with me. They're the ones that claim to be scared of me. And to me, that's normal. If somebody messing with your children, people gonna take your kids out of the state of Texas, bring them to South Carolina, someplace they don't belong, and then they were out here talking about being scared of me and file a restraining order. They're supposed to be scared. When you go to the judge with that, the judge, she doesn't say, rule against me. She should say, didn't you take that woman kids out of the state of Texas? And the thing would say, yeah. Well, ma'am, you're just going to have to count your losses. You get what you get. That's what them judges should say. The other people be running, they be running to the judge and crying, scared, and all this kind of stuff, making all these victim noises when they doing stuff they ain't had no business in the first place. But anyway, I'm supposed to protect my children. But anyway, so I just thought I would throw that out there because I had to defend myself and stand up for my rights and things over the years. But for the thing about this is with these kids, a lot of times these children are out here angry. They talking about the kids and the guns and what we gonna do about the young. But see, these kids used to be back in the day. They be hurt and they be crying and they be self-mutilating or whatever they do to their own selves. But these children these days are rising up. And they taking arms. They taking up arms because they're angry. But they got their muzzles pointed the wrong way. They point them at each other in the neighborhood and all that. There's the adults that's messing these kids up. And they need to go ahead and start doing something. We need to start talking to these grandparents and these parents. It was the Gen X and the baby boomers and those on the baby boomer cusp messed all these kids up. And now we're looking at the results of that. And now we won't wonder what's wrong with the kids. It ain't what's wrong with the kids, what's wrong with the adults. We need to start making some laws to protect these kids. What they say, the most vulnerable in our society, and we throw them to the wolves. We feed them we eat our young. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because it's all good. It's just part of my story, and I just throwing it out there. People, 21 minutes, I think. Okay, I'm not going to make this too long. I said what I had to say, and I'm going to keep making a few little videos from time to time just so I can get my story out there, let my children know who I am. I'm not a bad person, maybe. Maybe you might think I am, but it is what it is. You just at some point in your life, you really don't care what people think. You just keep on moving. You are what you are, for better or for worse. And that is what I have to say today. Let me see. I might say something else later on in the week. I don't know what I talk about. But anyway, that's all I got to say tonight. Have a good night. How you turn this off? Let's see. Stop.